Good morning. Plenty of lessons to learn from yesterday, particularly if you green up, whatever happens after you've greened up is inconsequential. Let's have a look at yesterday's green screens and the stories about greening up. First play, Bankers AZ Alkmaar. I was looking at the Just Trump Selby odds yesterday. AZ Alkmaar go ahead Eagles. Lay over 1.5 goals. I was waiting for AZ Alkmaar to get evens. Some of the matches, the only way you can create value is to delay. And that's what I did here. But Troy Parrott, Sir Troy, Saint Troy, getting the goal to make it 1-1. Far too early, but it was 2-1 by half time to AZ. You'd have been in and out very quickly. This was a great example. All sorts of different trading angles in here. Viborg taking a 1-0 lead. Milan, our old reliables, so I got involved at the 1-0 lead. But Viborg make it 2-0. Do I panic? No, I don't. I back Milan at 8 for a fiver. I lay Viborg at, I think, 1.43 for £5 liability. I call it averaging, because if you can get that 2-1, that's your exit point for a very marginal loss. We did get it 2-1. That was your exit point second half. Did you want to stay in? I stayed in because they are my old reliables. Got to 2-2. That's your second cash out opportunity. At the very least, if you want to go for the big bucks on Milan, and it's all relative, of course, to the amount staked. So had you stake 80 quid, that would be 116. I stay with £40 stakes. Should really be tied to your betting bank, shouldn't it? So you can use the power of compounding. At 2-2, you've got to negate that liability on Viborg because they are still in with a chance of winning. It's £50 liability. It's going to cost you a little bit. Backing at 7.4, you could have got rid of that liability. Superb stuff. That way you can stay in and look for the Milan win, which it came 2-3. Then you definitely cash out. A bit tongue-in-cheek, I said, watch out for a late Viborg 3-3. Could catch you unawares, and indeed it ended 3-3. Similar story, Slough and Macclesfield. This was down to the in-play stats. Backing 0-1 and 0-2. Backing 0-2 for more money because 0-2 was available at 14s. And Macclesfield did get the goal, but it did come via a penalty. Doesn't matter. The pressure told. And you could have got out here for about a £24 to £30 green screen. Okay, take it. Why? Well, let's take a look. I actually called both of these late goals, but very much tongue-in-cheek. Watch out for a late Slough penalty, I said on Telegram, and there it goes. So between this and this is this no man's land here, where you can cash out, lock in that profit, because you just never know. Particularly when you're playing with sides you don't normally get involved in, and indeed in the cup as well. So a lesson learned from both Viborg and Slough. Don't just stay in for the sake of a couple more quid. You've got to negate that liability because you're throwing money away otherwise. Okay? Some matches you have to green up at as early an opportunity as you can. Don't forget, trading is the anticipation of a future odds movement. That's what we anticipated here. We anticipated correctly, so let's get the reward for anticipating correctly. Now we know why Leverkusen Saturday were at such strange odds and why Roma lost 1-0 to Cagliari. It was always going to be a 1-0 or a 0-1, but the red card changed the match. Now we know why Juventus lost to Napoli. Now we know why Real Madrid lost to Celta Vigo. Let's get in our DeLorean and move forward to Tuesday and Wednesday. I didn't realise there would be Champions League and Europa League at this stage of the season. The busy winter schedule. But no, here it is. Atletico Madrid losing away to Atletico Bilbao. Liverpool under par yet again. Atalanta losing away to Hellas Verona. Now we know why. At 1.67. The competitions are so important now for these teams. They are actually willing to put in an under par league performance. Now we know why Copenhagen conceded 2 goals in the first half, despite being banker against Sonderskei. Now we know why Bayer Leverkusen's odds were so strange away at Augsburg. Really caught my eye, didn't they? Now we know why Juve lost and Real Madrid lost. It's all down to this very, very important European club competition. Now we know why Celtic lost at Hearts. Should have picked this up. Should really have picked this up. Now we know why Arsenal lost at the weekend as well. Now we know why Milan huffed and puffed, but got us across the line. Now we know why Dinamo Zagreb huffed and puffed against Hajduk Split, but eventually got that equaliser. This is a vitally important piece of information, knowing European club competition is afoot. Let's have a look at today's trading angles, and it is a typical Monday coupon. Starting off with our old reliables, Vejle. From a neutral perspective, you tend to see over 2.5 goal matches in Vejle matches. Are they going to perform like Milan performed yesterday? 4-1, 3-0, 5-2, 2-0. As a trading element, it all depends on when the goals are scored. 2-1, 4-0, 2-1, 5-1, 3-0. Old reliables. So stick them in your notebook for a 2.5 goal play today. Wolves against Manchester United. What was it? 64, 67, 72. Let's see. Number of minutes Wolves have kept sides at 0-0 before eventually conceding. Now the problem Wolves are going to have today is Man United a little less pressured away from home, scoring 2+ goals, albeit a couple of 2-2s. But they are scoring 2 goals. That's going to spoil Rob Edwards' plan for a 0-0 and then nicking a 1-0. It's very, very one-dimensional, negative football from Wolves, and you don't get any rewards, I'm afraid, for keeping a clean sheet until the 70th minute. You do for keeping a clean sheet for the 90th minute. We played it very well at the weekend, that one. French Ligue 2 might interest, 1.67 home favourite. That will be on the watch list. But the banker bets today, let's not confuse you. Banker bets for me, Vejle. AC Milan, only 1 loss this season. Torino can pick up 1-0 wins against the big boys. Pisa, lay over 0.5 goals at the start of the match. It's the same as saying back 0-0 pre-match. They do turn up, but 2.45 the favourite. It's more of a competitive match this. They'll both be eyeing the 3 points today. Those are the only bankers today. Others very, very weak sides. So if you really wanted to focus your football, I would be looking as well at taking any Wolves lead on today. Moving on to Pisa, as you know, I've done a expected goals and that. We'll have a look at that. Udinese Genoa, not going to be researching that or that. Okay, 2.45. It's a waste of my time. Absolute waste of time. The market's already told us. Torino and AC Milan. Only 2 losses since the 4th of October for Torino, so they are a defensive animal. And they did get those 1-0 wins against Roma and Napoli. AC Milan themselves have won 3 1-0 wins in the last 4 matches. Really solid looking at the moment. I would certainly be keen to take Torino on. They have scored 2 goals on 3 occasions, but in 2 of those matches, they failed to win. There are a smattering of Serie B matches today. Serie B, if you go to Odds Checker, you probably see over 2.5 goals at odds of 2 or higher. It's not known for its over 2.5 goals, the Italian Serie B. The Dutch Eredivisie is known for over 2.5 goals, so you can do a quick check to see whether the market thinks these 2 teams will deliver on that 2.5 goals for you. So you can go down to 2.5 here, 1.4 or lower. So you've got a green light, hopefully, for these 2 to perform in an over 2.5 goals league. It's a simple technique to check. And Osasuna and Levante. Let's have a look at that match. 1.73 home favourite. I might as well show you the research. Only 3 wins did come at home. Only 3 clean sheets. 3 goals conceded in each of the last 2. So it's all about the threes for Osasuna. 5 defeats in 6 for Levante. Failed to score in the last 2. Only wins came via the bottom 3 and they play 4th bottom today. So it's that last piece of information that might give Levante a chance here today. I have done AI for you for Pisa, Udinese, indeed for all of the matches today. So do have a look at that. And I've done the expected goals reports for members as well. But we'll have a look at that now. The XG reports, particularly for Pisa and Parma, probably going to make poor viewing for any fans of those two. You can quite clearly see the problems that these two present, particularly Parma. Expected goals of 0.94, which means they're struggling just to get to that single goal. Pisa, I would have expected their expected goals against to be a lot shorter than this, but this is probably down to being tonked by the big boys, particularly away from home. But at home, if you looked at their expected goals at home, it would be completely different. But a few 0-0s make it very, very difficult for teams to score. So laying over 0.5 goals at the start of this match would hopefully grab any 0-0 by half time, and then you can lay the draw second half for a free bet. I know this is season long, but we really should be looking at XG under the new manager. But 0.89 tells you Wolves. Yes, they can keep clean sheets till the 70th minute, but then they can't follow it up with a goal. That's the problem. And when you've got an XGA of 1.48, that's giving sides a comfortable goal and then sides with a shot at 2 goals. Manchester United away from home do tend to bring this expected goals with them. So I think this could be trouble for Wolverhampton Wanderers today. I thought I'd show you the XG within the analyzer itself. For Torino AC Milan, you can see the actual average goals and the 1.17 scored. That's their problem. And with an AC Milan keeping things tight, Torino are likely to be capped at a single goal today. That's what this is saying. And with both of these expected goals in offence and expected goals against for Torino marrying each other, it looks like AC Milan have a shot at a single goal, given a chance to score 2 as well. This is why, for me, they are bankers of the day. And before I go, I want to show you this app I'm working on. It's a Football Trading Profits Points Matrix. This will tell you, for example, about the Celtic match and make sure that you look into it. So what I've done here, if I can get the app to start off, it doesn't go backwards. So we've got pre or post European competition, yes or no. So if you were looking at the Celtic match yesterday, this would have picked this up, okay? Pre or post international break, not on this occasion. New manager for either side, not on this occasion. Team selection and form, which side are you trading? I'm trading the home side. Challenge table form, it's okay for Celtic at home. So we'll put a +1 there. The current scoreline, 0-1. Let's just say it's the 65th minute. Any red cards? None. So we'll put in the time because it's important. We need to have enough time for them to actually get the goal, don't we? Advanced metrics, good recent shots on or off target for Celtic? Not really. Been a bit lukewarm. And their expected goals yesterday, we can have a quick check on that. You can see an XG of 1.88. But when did the Hearts goal come in? 43rd minute. So let's just add that to the app. The goal came in the 43rd minute. So that means you're more likely you've got enough time for them to get that equaliser. Good recent shots on or off target for Celtic. Again, this will tell you 5 shots on, 3 off. 15 shots in total to 8. Expected goals in the second half, 1.04 to 0.25. So giving a good account of themselves, Celtic. So that expected goals in the second half, 1.04 is good. So they get a point. Market expectations, the home side was the favourite. Their odds 1.53. So what I'll do, I'll get AI to give you more points for the shorter the odds and being at home. Now we're going to evaluate this trade, and it's going to give you a score. I think this is a good way of stopping us getting involved, jumping on, and it's a good way for us to just quickly check that there are no negatives involved. So let's have a look. Live visual assessment of the current game, key players' injuries. Well, that's something we can move. It says back here, back delay, targeting an equaliser before half time. So that would have been good. That would have been a really good value play, or early in the second half. Now, what we need to do, of course, with the second half beginning, is to go through this again. Maybe move this to the 60th minute, check your shots on and off target, etc. But the fact we've got European competition doesn't seem to have weakened, because we've got no international break, stable manager, no new manager syndrome. But that's wrong, isn't it? Because Celtic were under Martin O'Neill. So we could have put that down as a negative as well. They didn't have a stable manager. So yes, had we picked that up, our confidence would have diminished a little bit. They're at home, plus. Good recent form, plus. No recent shots though. High XG, that was in the first half though. Neutral time, trading pre-match favourites, indeed. So you've got a 2, which is not the strongest. I wonder when we get 100% one, that could be the chance to get stuck in. So I'll be working on this app for you. I need to give it more distinctions as well and work out this points, because it's a bit straightforward at the moment. Just lacks a bit of nuance. But had we used this for Celtic, we would have picked up a couple of negatives that would save our dough, wouldn't it? All of these apps will be hopefully available to you in the new year, as long as they don't cost me any money. If they do, I'll have to pass on the costs to yourselves. But I think you're going to find them very, very useful. And it just presses the stop button before you trade, doesn't it? Work your way through with that checklist, and you'll pick up the negatives and the positives. E-letter every Saturday. We'll have Premier League research and the expected goals. And this weekend, I gave you extra. I gave you Italy and Germany as well. So some days on a Saturday, you will get a whole host of extra leagues for free. Just sign up to the e-letter. It's a 14-day free trial for FootballTradingProfits.com as well. This is a busy, busy period. Be great to see you. We've been picking up some greens. We're trying to avoid the old Celtics of this world as well. It's going to be a busy, busy week. A full English coupon pretty much. Was it on Tuesday? Champions League as well. Europa League on Thursday. And then back to our usual Friday coupon. And then a busy, busy Christmas Saturday. It's a day off for me today. You're unlikely to be hearing from me. Let me just recap the banker bets for today. So in the context of trading, a banker bet is teams who show regular patterns that we can rely upon if they continue today. Over 2.5 goals, Vejle, banker, like Milan yesterday. Wolves, likely, or lay over 0.5 goals. You've got to, because of that 3 consecutive matches under Rob Edwards with a 0-0 at half time. Then you'll be looking for a second half goal. Manchester United, I think, could figure if Wolves score an early goal. 2+ goals away from home. And only the one loss recently against Everton. They are sneaking some good results, aren't they? Other bankers lay over 0.5 goals at the start of this match. Very, very low liability. Pisa are known for their 0-0s at home. Torino, 1-0s against a couple of big boys, Roma and Napoli. That's likely to be capped today if they do score to a single goal. AC Milan in very rich form of late, but 3 1-0 wins in the last 4. I would fancy AC Milan as a very strong play today. Don't be put off by these here. They're not bankers, just me targeting odds-on favourites. So those are the banker bets